Welcome Nikhil, Koshel, Randir, and Shivani. A formal welcome to this call and a formal congratulations once again for joining ISB PGP class of 2026. We will start with quick introduction. We will start with Koshel and then Shivani, then Nikhil and Randir. The sequence in which they got admit. No other particular reason. And I want you to just tell everyone your profile, obviously, what you have been working and your GMAT score, though everything I had already mentioned in the poster, but your GMAT score, how many attempts it took you, and most importantly, why did you decide to pursue an MBA? Because there's a big rumor floating since 2, 3 years that ISB is not for people who cross 27 or 28 years of age. No matter how much I try to say that that's not the case, every year 10 people, at least 10 people ask. So why did you decide to pursue an MBA? And for Shivani and Randir, what happened? What did you do differently this year? Because both of you are reapplicant. And what did you learn as a reapplicant? Because that is also very important. So, Kaushal, please go ahead.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Anshul. Thanks for all the help, first of all, and then for the congratulations now, really appreciate all the help that I got last year while applications. So my name is Koshel. I am a mechanical engineering graduate, 2012. And since then, I have worked in various organizations, MNCs, non-profits, working in a startup like OYO, launching markets for OYO. And then since last 6 years, I've been building my own business. So that being said, I have worked. That gives me different experience in different organizations, different sectors. But one thing consistent across my profile is I've always been interested in building new things from scratch, building organizations. So that's about me. I started thinking about MBA around 2021. When COVID was there, my business was still there, but I had a lot of time in my hand and I was thinking, what do I do next? And I definitely at 2022 decided that I have to take up the GMAT. And by then I already had like about 2, 3 years my business have been setting up. I knew to take it to the next level, I have to move out of this place, gain more experience. Maybe a little more network might be helpful. So I started my GMAT journey in 2022. It took me 2 long years because there were a couple of, personal things that happened. My father had a heart attack. He took a open heart surgery. I got married. My sister got married. All those things happened in between. It was a long journey for me. And it took me. This was the third attempt. I had in class six. I had 700 in 2023 January, 2024 January, but I still took another attempt at a crack at the new format and I scored 645. I thought, okay, that's fine. That's okay because I'm scoring around the same points and let me go ahead and, apply for the programs. But I started seeking help for my admissions way before that. I reached out to Anshul, I think around, if I'm not wrong, around April
Yeah, April.
2024.
Yeah.
April. So I was willing to go ahead and apply with 700 itself with the classic, but I still took the GMAT. I thought maybe if it helps, it helps. Otherwise, I'm going ahead anyway. So that's about me. Why MBA after 30 specifically? Having built my business for last 6 years, I have a ground understanding of stuff. But for me to take my business to the next stage that I believe, and I have around decent about 2 CR of revenue in my business, to take it to the next, I think like 0 to 1, I have made it. I want to take this business to 1 to 100. And I literally mean that I want to hit 100 crore target for my business. So I think this experience would not only help me with my knowledge, but also I want to build network. And this seems like the right time for me. As in, before this, there are multiple points in my life when I thought I would take up a MBA. But since my goal was always to build a business, I kept postponing until I became sure that it's actually going to help me next stage. Yeah. Very, very shortly put, that's about me.
Thanks, Koshal. That was really comprehensive. Shivani, please go ahead.
Thanks, Koshel. Thanks, Anshul. Echoing what Koshel said, thank you for my application. I reached out to you 1 month before the deadline. Did I just
No, no,
have
no.
a month?
We were in touch
We spoke.
much before. You decided
Yes,
to.
I decided to apply a month
Yeah.
before. So, and I'll circle back to this. So, to introduce myself, I am Shivani. I graduated in 2015 in economics and I've also done my CSA and FRA. So the last 7 years I spent in corporate working across EY, which is a client-facing role, front-end role. Then I spent some time in JP Morgan as a wealth management middle office role. And then I moved to Bain as a part of the private equity team, as a part of the Bain Capability Center. So I think it was during my time in between JP Morgan and Bain that I was thinking about MBA. I did take an attempt. I applied. I did all of that on my own. Didn't work out, of course. And then I got through Bain, seemed like a great opportunity to, continue working in private equity and probably explore it before I rethink MBA. And it just went to the back. I think probably a little over the last year, I've been a part of my family business
Yeah.
where we work in the portfolio management side of things. And I realized that how, while I've worked across organizations, I don't have a lot of depth in a lot of things, while I have a lot of breadth of experiences. So whether I want to continue working in private equity or look at the business point of view of things, I think I need a lot more in-depth understanding and build a better network of individuals to be able to continue this, which is where MBA came into the picture. And I took my exam. I have a 645 equivalent to a 700. So, and I think I started speaking to Anshul, and I had exactly the same concern while we're having this call that is this the right age to go for it? I've
Yeah.
worked for 8+ years, and does it make sense? I don't have the score. So I think it was not about my age. It was about what I planned to do post an MBA, which led me to take this decision that I should go ahead. I think building that whole network and getting that whole depth working in corporate for longer was the reason I decided to go ahead with this. I think that's about it.
How many times did you take GMAT and how was that struggle? Because I don't know that story. You
Oh,
were doing
so
it in parallelly, and I don't really take care about GMAT or GRE. I'm concerned about the final score. So that is a
uh,
main problem with many people.
yeah.
I want you to just touch upon that a bit.
So I think when I applied in 2021, I had just had a 660. I don't know. I just went ahead and applied. I
Classic
was very
GMAT.
sure I might not make it with that score, but वो round 3 भी था, so I just went ahead and did it. This time I took the GMAT one. I had a 595. Didn't work in my favor, of course. I mean, I was out of touch with studies. I went ahead. I had a 645 and another 3 months. This is the score I looked at to apply with for ISB. But of course, ISB gave me a wait list and I wasn't sure if the score is going to work in my favor. So I went ahead, decided to retake it to apply to foreign schools.
Okay.
But ISB was at a 645 and I think that is anyway because I wanted to stay in India, build my business here better and build that network here. I think the idea was always to continue pursuing an MBA from India. So the day ISB happened, I've shut all my foreign applications.
Okay. Uh, Thanks for that. Before we proceed with Nikhil's introduction, I just wanted to tell you guys, if you are not a part of the group, I posted a link in the chat. And while they are giving the introduction, anything that you want to ask them, please put it in the chat. I will anyway allow everyone to unmute and ask directly, but we can also save time that way. If you already have some questions in your mind, please put it in the chat. Nikhil, please go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, Anshul. Thanks for the call. And thanks for all the work that you did for me. So a brief introduction about me. I am Nikil John. I am from Kerala, and I've had a rather unconventional kind of a path towards an MBA. So I was first in the finance side of things after I graduated, and I worked at 2 years at an investment bank named Rothschild. And after that, I took a decision to pursue UPSC Civil Services examination, but that didn't work out. I did 4 5 attempts at that, but still didn't work out. And then I decided to move on to the public space. So from private to public space, I went, and in public, I was in at this. I am currently working at NABARD, which is a developmental financial institution. It's an all India financial institution. It's a development bank also, and so I've been working there for the past 3.5 years, and so now with an MBA, I plan to shift back to the private sector and preferably in the finance field. And there is a brief background about me. My GMAT was again like a great struggle for me, to be honest. And initially, I took the actual thing, and it was like around 650 in classic, and that was 1 year back, 2024 Jan. And that was like after say 3-4 months of preparation, not like full time preparation, but yeah, I mean I've covered all the uh, basic stuff and all. And then I put in more efforts, and by October, so I mean it got obviously delayed. Like I thought like okay, I have time. I'll first do a GMAT first. I'll get a good GMAT score, and then I apply. And then eventually it came up to a point that before round two there was only like 1 month, and
Yeah.
I mean that was the deadline I kept for myself, and I finally appeared there. I got 645, though I knew that it was below average. I that was when I mean formally started an application with Anshul. I've been in touch with Anshul, for the past one
You
year
have
and all
been
that.
in touch with me since 4th
Yeah,
July
since
2023. I'm
23.
just
Yeah, I
opening
mean
our chat
yeah, yeah.
because,
And
because
so
I believe that I know you since ages because we are in touch
yeah.
since I don't know what time.
Yeah, because and in my I mean the whole MBA journey also, like sometimes when like Anshul kind of drops in a message saying that are you still pursuing MBA, are you
Yeah, I
have you
had to
left, or
because anyone who is
yeah.
in touch since ages, and I know the
Hmm,
profile is strong.
hmm,
Even I feel a bit interested in a person if I think that this profile can get in. But of course, if that person works very hard for it, and even if
hmm,
it's a lower than average GMAT, all four of you have lower than average GMAT. All four
yeah.
of you have higher than average WOCX.
I think you did that with me also. You dropped me a message that what happened, why are you not doing this, and why are you not, like, it's just a month.
And
So yeah,
yeah, I just
we
wanted to
pushed
add
us for
that
it.
yeah, I just wanted to add there that I was also, I mean I've been part of this group also for a long time. So that group may like whenever the results come, no, that gives like spikes of motivation.
Yes.
And then then I'll do a bit of a good GMAT study, and then yeah. So I mean, so it's not been a straightforward path. It's been mixed with a lot of struggles, to be honest.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's one thing which I wanted to share. Yeah.
Meenakshi, please mute yourself here. Do not make me throw you out of the group. Yeah, Nikhil, please continue.
Yeah. So, and why MBA? It was just I wanted to shift back to the private sector, and given a long gap in my age, and I talked to a lot of seniors who have done MBA, and everyone told MBA was a great route, and even I thought it would make sense for me to do an MBA. So I would have done an MBA, like irrespective of this. But yeah, I wanted to do from either ISB or A or B. I mean, I had set us. I mean, if I get there, I'll go, or else I'll stay at my current position, because uh, it's a good place where I'm right now. So that's it, Anshul. That's it.
Yeah, Randir, finally. The newest admit. Literally, you might be the newest admit for the entire batch as of now.
Yeah, I actually have not synced in
Yeah,
the
it takes
result
1 week.
totally in yet.
I always say it takes 1 week
Yeah,
to
just
sync
been
in.
2 days, and it's like a total panic mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, and good evening, everyone, and thank you, Anshul, first of all, because without your help, I'm not sure if I have been able to make it to ISB this year. And yeah, coming to me, I'm Randir. I'm from Hyderabad. So I've done my graduation in electronics and communications engineering from a college called CBIT in Hyderabad. Post my undergrad, I joined ADP Private Limited as a software developer, but that was only for a brief period of about 10 months, because I've always had this idea in mind that I had to pursue civil services. So yeah, after about 10 months of self-realization and all that stuff, so I've taken the call to put in my papers and move to Delhi so that I could pursue civil services. Yeah, I could not unfortunately make it to the civil services, but meanwhile during my preparation for civil services, I could crack SSC CGL examination, wherein I joined as an inspector in Central Board of Excise and Customs, and fortunately for me, I got a home cadre posting in Hyderabad. Post that, things got complicated. I could not. I still went on to give two more attempts to civil services, but I could not, prepare 100% for that. I could not give that a time for myself due to various complications and all that. So then I got married, and I got used to the central government job. It's kind of relaxed, chill mode. But then I always had this entrepreneurial spirit in me. So I always wanted to do something, but I had never moved forward to take that step to do something. But uh, at about, I mean, in 2020, in the end of 2020, I started a quick service restaurant along with my friend, and I had also taken master franchisee rights for the same. But unfortunately, COVID came and everything went haywire. Then it took about, I mean, I struggled to run the same for about 2 years, but then I had to shut it down. I incurred a huge amount of losses. Then the next 2 to 3 years is like I was just trying to settle in of what happened. Then I had a kid. I had taken my time what to do next, and eventually I've taken the decision to pursue MBA as a career option and move out of the central government job, so that because I realized that in my first entrepreneurial stint, I realized that I lacked some basic business fundamentals, so that I somewhere felt that I could not practically analyze everything properly, so that that may be one of the reasons that I had taken a wrong decision. So I thought, okay, no, let's get a formal business education before I, prepare myself to start something on my by myself again. So that's the reason I thought, okay, after about putting about 7 to 8 years of service in the government department, I thought, okay, if I were to do an MBA, it should rather be from the best of the best institutions in the country. So I thought, okay, I'll give my best and attempt for this at ISB. But in the first attempt, it was like I had taken the decision a month ago. In about 15 to 20 days of time, I had given my GRE. I got about 323. I had chosen GRE because I had very less time, so I thought I won't be able to prepare totally for GMAT. So for me, I felt GRE is relatively easier. So that's the reason I had taken GRE. With my score, I applied in R3, but in my first attempt, I was not even shortlisted for interview. Then again in 2023, I'd given my best shot at ISB. This time I improved my GRE score. I'd given
So
two more attempts at GRE.
this was your third attempt, Randir.
Yeah. In my third attempt at GRE, no, this is my third attempt for ISB.
Oh.
But with GRE also, I had given 3 attempts. I had improved my score to 327.
Hmm.
So with that score, I had given my second attempt with ISB. Then I had been shortlisted for the interview. Then in the results, like I was waitlisted. Then I got to know that if it is a waitlist, it's almost a rejection. So yeah, that's what happened in the end.
No, it's not. Shivani was
Yeah.
also waitlisted. I kept telling her convert hoga.
Yeah.
She kept telling
So
me if that she doesn't get converted, then I should leave this everything.
right. So in 24 Feb, I got to know that I was rejected. Then I thought, no, okay, let me give my last shot at ISP. Frankly speaking, after this, I would not have given one more shot. So this was my last shot at ISP. Then I thought, okay, let me take a professional's help. Then somehow in the last moment, like just before, like about a month before R1 deadline, I contacted Anshul. Then
No.
he helped me. No,
15 days
it was
ago.
on 15 days, right? Yeah.
I
So
was this
just
close
before,
to saying no to you. The only reason I said yes because I had
right?
completed others' applications. So I was like,
Yes, yes, yes,
and you were coming from a referral. Nikhil was a very,
yes,
I
yes.
mean, Nikhil is still kind of a friend to me, and I had a great time working with him, and he referred and he said, please help him. So if someone's
Right,
coming
right,
from a
right.
referral, I have to like, so that's
Right.
the reason.
But thank you so much, Anshul. If you hadn't taken the decision to help me out, maybe I don't know what would have
नहीं,
been
नहीं, ऐसा see,
happened. Yeah.
you all deserve to be there. I just acted as a catalyst. I just told you what exactly needs to be done. That's all.
Right.
Someone needs to do that. Some people are able to do it on their own. That's their skill. Some people
Right, right,
need an extra someone else to tell them. That's it.
right.
Okay, great. I already have great questions in the chat, and guys, others, please keep putting it in the chat. This is for Shivani and Randir. How did you handle two rejections? What kept you moving forward? Shivani, can
Yeah.
you?
Yeah. Okay.
So I think the first rejection happened in 2021. I was a round three applicant with a 660 classic GMAT, and I didn't have an interview call. But then I think just a couple of months later, Bain happened, VC and private equity. So I kind of had a little soft cushion there that I got it into a good role. Of course, it was very difficult for me. But again, realizing that how difficult this role was because it's really superficial, you're not working on end-to-end projects. I again started rethinking about MBA. I honestly, it wasn't easy to handle because I had my doubts whether it's going to work out for me or not. Over 6 months, I had a very staggered preparation um, where I had a 595. So that was like the final nail in the coffin where I thought, ye to hona hi nahi. This is like probably it's not meant to happen, but what? So I think then I restarted, worked on it very diligently. Uh, and 3 months it took me to get to a 645. That is when somewhere I saw Anshul, someone told me about him, and I was like, Anshul, I have a 645. I can't take the GMAT anymore. Will this work with for me or not? I am not confident. So this rejection was difficult. I gave him my entire profile. I had like 100 concerns with my work experience, my age, my score, my reapplication. But I think the fact that if you are very authentic about it, they understand and they see you, which was actually missing in my application. So the only way, and then again a waitlist meant.
Oh,
So I think that was even worse for me. I texted Anshul that I am disappointed. I have no hope. It's not going to happen. So the last 3 months were the toughest between all of this, between 21 till today.
yeah.
But I actually spent a lot of time dwelling over it, rethinking my priorities, if I should go back to a different role, how should I reassess? I reassessed everything. And then Anshul said, they keep working forward. So what I did was, after that waitlistment, I actually started working on other applications also, that if this doesn't work, what do we do? I either retake the exam, because if I have to do an MBA, I was like, I have to do it. I still have a year to do it. So either I stop here or I retake my exams, think about what else can I add to my profile for next year, or I apply to other colleges. So I think the only way to handle rejection is you let it sink in, you take your time. But then you think if you really want to do this, you have to fix whatever is in your hands, which is your GMAT and your interview. I think that was the only way I looked at it after a month of sulking.
Hmm. Okay. Randir?
I have also been rejected twice, but my first rejection, I would not. I'm kind of prepared for it because I was very late in taking the decision to go for it, and then within 2 months I had to apply, and I did it in R3. So I was kind of mentally prepared for that. Maybe I. So that was not very disheartening to me at that point of time. But then I thought, okay, the second attempt I should give my best shot. So I worked on my GRE, so I gave two more attempts. Then I worked more on my profile. So where did I go wrong? I tried to analyze everything and all that stuff. And the second attempt, I thought I really gave my best, but then unfortunately I was waitlisted, and I didn't know what went wrong. So it took me a while to sink in. I was not knowing where did I fell short and all that. But after the rejection email, then I properly sat and realized that maybe, yeah, once thing, my GRE score 327 is slightly below the average. The second thing is I felt that maybe in my interview I did not communicate things properly, so I thought maybe I should work more on that. So for my third attempt, I could not give another shot at GRE because during the process I got my promotion at work, and I was given more responsibility, so I was very occupied with work that I could not spare more time for getting a better GRE score. So I went ahead with the same GRE score, but then I thought, okay, let me improve my communication skills, and I thought, okay, maybe I should also take help with my application as such. So that is when I contacted Anshul, and actually Anshul and Tanmay, I got to interact with Tanmay also for my interview preparation. So both of them had been very encouraging, and they had motivated me properly, so that I somewhere feel that I was able to give my best shot at the interview this time, because after the interview this time I felt that okay, my interview went well this time. So then again I got waitlisted. I was like, what went wrong? I apart from my GRE score, I don't see anything.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, let it be, whatever happens. And for a matter of fact, I had taken the wait list as a rejection, and I've no, I've took out the idea of MBA altogether. Then suddenly 2 days ago I got the mail of confirmation, and things things turned up again. So yeah, so that's about it for me.
Okay, so next question is a very interesting question. Uh, I would request Koshel and then Nikhil to answer this, because you had a solid work-ex. What were the 3 tangible outcomes you expect out of your MBA, and what would they be? Kaushal, you already have established business, and Nikhil, I've seen
Yeah.
how busy you are with your work. We had to cancel our mock 2 times because you had no time. So,
Yeah.
what exactly you both were looking from your MBA?
So being very candid answer, right? And I'm not trying to give a this thing. A
Hmm.
candid answer for me is actually a brand. I was focused that I would only apply in ISB and IMA.
Yes.
I the end moment just applied, put an application to B, and I didn't want to go beyond these schools at all. I didn't apply to anything else. So I was really sure that I want to go for a brand or not do an MBA at all. So, why brand? For me, it matters because I have struggled with team building in last 6 years a hell lot. And I believe that a brand would help me get the people that I need to build my business in future, right? As in if not today, in future. So, brand is certainly something that I'm looking forward to. If nothing, bring good people to my team. Number one, that's number one. Number two would be I want little more knowledge on nuance on structured thinking. It is little rhetorical, or like people use these terms a lot, but it definitely would help me to have a structured like kind of thinking. I have I have knowledge about little bit about operations, little bit about sales, little bit about accounts. I know a little bit about balance sheets. I have knowledge, small little knowledge about all the fields. But to connect these all things, and business works does not work in just accounting. Business is not just accounting. Business is not just sales. Business is not just operations. So as a business owner, I need to understand everything, how each work in tandem. So that is something that I'm looking forward to, knowledge wise in this. And thirdly, definitely, I want to use the resources there. I think there is a entrepreneurial, club. Then there are all these venture clubs there. So definitely want to use those. For me, these are the 3 reasons why I want to pursue specifically from a good brand school in India. And why India? I want to, if at all that's a question, why India is because I have my business, again, our family here. At this age, to go abroad, settle, bring my spouse to another country, it seems like a lot of task for me at an age of 35. Yeah.
Yes, Nikhil.
Yeah, so for me, the major reason was that I wanted to shift back to the corporate world from the public sector. So I had MBA was one of the, I mean, it made the most sense to go back. In the chat, someone had asked, like, with MBA versus without MBA.
Yeah.
Actually, there was a question in my interview also.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's something which we should have a proper answer to. And um, in reality, I had applied to some roles, like, which I wanted to do post MBA. Like, say, for example, something in the impact space, like, say, a World Bank type, and where I got rejected also. And there the requirement was like an MBA was required. I mean, I did not have an MBA then. I don't have an MBA, so I was rejected plain and this. So I had quoted that experience and my talks with my those who had already done my done an MBA from ISB, and that gave a real answer to, like, why an MBA and why not you directly apply to your post MBA goal. So that was something which I wanted to add right now. And then obviously all my most of my career has been, like, in finance anyway. So I wanted to, I mean, from the learning part, something which Kaushal told, I wanted to reiterate that you get to learn a lot about other things also, like, say, marketing, operations, and negotiations and things like that. Some pretty interesting courses are there. So I thought from the learning side, it is there. And then obviously the network. So one of my ISB friends told that, you've got primarily the 800 plus network, and he's basically running his fund, and any some quick help he needs, and he posts in his WhatsApp group, and he gets, like, a lot of replies. So that is it. I mean, he told the power of network at ISB is, like, really great. So that's something which resonated with me, and which I would want to utilize in my career going forward. These three were the major reasons.
Okay. Thanks for sharing that. Someone PR is asking, is it advisable to do MBA at this age, provided recruiters do not prefer old candidates in product management? Again, random rumor with no base. Where it is written? Someone till now, I was hearing this about consulting. This year, the current batch has already busted this myth. People with 7 to 8 years of work experience are going to Accenture strategy. In my batch, someone more than 30 went to McKinsey because McKinsey wanted someone with a particular subject matter expertise that guy had. This is not true at all for product management also. I have no clue where you guys, every year I bust myth and you guys come up with new things. So first of all, this is not true. Will second MBA be hinders? Absolutely not. PR, I don't know what your full name is, so I will address you as PR only. You can check out Shruti Rao, class of 2023. Yeah, class of 2023. She pursued her second MBA after already sitting at a salary of 32 LPA. After her first MBA from Mika, which is a great school, not even a very bad tier 2 school. But you need to really do a lot of preparation during interview. You need to convince them that you need a second MBA. You really need to convince, and you need to pinpoint very accurately that, hey, these are the things I cannot get no matter what I do without pursuing MBA from ISB. And then you have to make them trust that you're really serious about achieving those things. That is a catch. If you're able to do it, you'll get in. It's not an hindrance at all. Okay. Praneeth, yes, feedback will open in June. I will help you to get the feedback. GRE preparation. Many people are asking Randir about GRE preparation. Randir, can you explain in brief, how did you reach 327 after multiple attempts? But in brief, not in very much detail.
I'll definitely answer that question. But before that, I would like to, tell that my mode of preparation is not very structured, so it's not ideal that one should follow my way of preparation. Second thing is that, I mean, I had always been good at math, so math has been it's not very stressful for me. I can easily do it. So with respect to GRE preparation, I really didn't put in much effort for the part of math. But with respect to verbal, I did some mugging up about all the verbal things, and I'd referred few YouTube channels, a couple of them. So there are a lot of resources. Like you can't keep exploring so many resources, and for me the time for preparation was very less. So I stuck myself to one or two things that I have been referring to, and I try to improve my abilities within that set. So after my first attempt, I realized that my math score was very good, but then my verbal score was slightly less. So I worked more on verbal for my third attempt. So that is when I got 327. So that's about it. Like I told you, since I had a very strong math abilities, like I didn't practice much or refer to so many odd materials and all that stuff. So like I said, so my mode of preparation is not ideal for me to share for aspirants, because I don't think it will give you best results. So if you have proper time, maybe you should follow a more structured approach. For me, it's like whenever I had given GRE test, it was like only 15-20 odd days of preparation.
Okay.
So that is also one of the reasons my GRE score is only 327. Had you had a proper structured approach, maybe you would have scored better.
Dhanush has asked a very interesting question. If you connected with ISB alums during your preparation, if yes, please provide some tips we can use while reaching out to people. Any one of you did that? How did you reach out to alums who are completely unknown to you, and what questions did you ask them to help you during your application journey?
Should I take it up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't connect to any alums during the GMAT prep, but after, when I was applying, I did connect to a lot of them. I actually I was taking on Tanmay's help also. See, so he had this template in
Template.
place.
Yeah.
So I would paste it and just randomly send cold, LinkedIn requests, and I use that for a lot of people, and I did get replies, and a lot of people reached out. I connected with, like, if not, I messaged about 50 people, and about 10 people I reached and spoke to.
That's a great conversion.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, a lot of people actually were really helpful. It's not that they don't reach out. Some people reach out later, but they do. Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else did that if they want to add something? Because it's an important thing
I
to
did
do.
this. So I think
I do not, I mean, I don't say that it's must if you're working with me, because I can give all the info you want, but if you're doing it on your own, it's great.
I think I reached out prior to my interview, because I think until we started working on mocks even before we had a shortlist for
With
the
all of
interview.
you. With all of you.
Ha.
We
So I
we
think I
did not wait to get the
we did
shortlist.
not. So I think I reached out to people more from current batches to get a sense of the activities I can talk about in the interview. These were all through LinkedIn. I think you send them a bunch of your questions and you say, I'm a current applicant and I'm like kind of looking for some help here for my interview prep, and these are the kind of questions I want answered. And a lot of them are very happy to connect over a call also. So I think my idea was to understand more around the current last 2, 3 batches, the activities, the things I can give to ISB and get from ISB. And, not just from an interview perspective, but also from a longer perspective, that how should I shape myself and how should I plan for these things. So I think even I had like an amazing conversion rate. I think it's like a good 20% I have also
Yeah,
had.
because
I'm
you
still
are
in
a
touch with a
female.
lot of,
You are a female.
oh,
Let's
come on,
accept it.
that's
No,
just
let's
stereotype
accept it. Let's accept.
thing.
That's how it happens. That's how world works. Okay.
But I think I'm still in touch with so many of them who've asked me on my result, how did it go?
I'm
And they're
sure.
still
I'm
giving me
sure.
tips on,
I'm sure.
oh, come on, I don't think it is that. Koshel, please vouch here.
You have the male's perspective, isn't it?
Please
But
help me. Support me that I'm true.
but
We need another
but
female on this call.
but they have been helpful, that's for sure. I mean,
Yeah, I think the whole, when people talk about the ISB alum network strength, I think it was visible even before going to college. Like
Yeah.
the day you start reaching out for help as an applicant, And now also when I'm reaching out to people that, okay, I am a batch of 26 and I'm going to reach out to ask a few questions. They're so helpful. We're trying to organize internal sessions with current presidents and vice presidents, and they've been like more than helpful. I think you feel that whole network before you're there.
Okay, Rishi Devan has asked a very good question to Koshel. Uh, this builds upon your willingness to connect diverse knowledge areas. Did this come up in your interview? And if yes, how did you tackle this question? I'm
No,
sure
it
it
did
came
come
up in
up
some way or the other.
in some way. So they did ask me, like the first question, generally in an interview, you would expect someone to ask you, give your intro or something. There were no intro for me. It was like, why do you want to do an MBA at this age? So, like the first question that I got was that. And then I think the entire conversation flowed through all these points. It was a pretty long one. And yes, they did come up like about why MBA, is that there was some component in my answer about interconnectedness of everything. And I think there was a point in my application about that also, about where I want to like having diverse knowledge, but no in-depth things. So I want to connect them, get more structured things. I think that came up in different, not directly, if I can say so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rishi, another Rishi has asked this question to Shivani. Did they not ask you if you should join your family business program instead of PGP? That MFAP program, PGP in family business or something. Asking since I have a similar profile investment business at home.
So this is not something they asked, but I did prepare for it because I kind of expected it.
Yeah.
But regarding my long-term goals, they were very trying to go a lot deeper into, whether I want to be in the business, whether I want to move to corporate, why MBA fits in. This question didn't directly come to me, but I think a lot of deep diving into, why business, why not business immediately? What is your goal? How will MBA help in your business? If you don't want, like, I didn't tell them I want to do a business immediately. I said I want to go back to corporate and then continue in the business because I want to build a network. So the whole, a lot of part of my interview went into discussion about how MBA will help you, how the corporate experience will help you come back to business. What are you looking to gain out of it? So I think this is something you need to have a very clear idea in your head. There's no right and wrong answer to it. Otherwise, you have a clear path which you can justify that why I'm taking these steps to reach my end goal. I think that's going to be good for you.
Okay. Vishak has asked Randir, what did you do to improve your communication skills? Was there any particular coaching you did to improve your communication skills?
No, as such, in my case, what happened for me is, see, at my organization, it's like most of my colleagues, our regular conversations is either in Hindi or in Telugu, which is my home cadre language here. So basically, most of the time, we are not practicing speaking English. So that was the problem for me, that I could not
No, he's
be,
asking how did you improve? How
fluent.
did you improve?
Yeah, that's where I'm coming. So I realized that I only have to improve my practice of English. So I used to I made sure that I used to read at least one or two articles in a paper every day, and I deliberately tried to speak to my colleagues in English every day. So that's how I developed that practice and got back to my original state. Otherwise, that 8 to 9 years of my work life at my organization had gradually made me lose my fluency in English. So that's basically what I did about it, and no coaching or nothing, because I really didn't have so much time for doing coaching and all that stuff.
Okay. This is for Nikhil and then Randir also. How did you justify the career gap? This is a big issue. Everyone, as in anyone who has a career gap, their first query to me, how will I justify it? They have not taken their GMAT, GRE, they have no clue about ISB application, but they're more worried about career gap. Even I told them that it's not an issue at all, but they're still worried. So, Nikhil, how did you justify? Did they ask you first? Did they ask you in the
They
application,
did not
in the
ask
interview?
me, yeah, they did not ask me directly like that. They asked me like, why, I mean, what made you go to UPSC and preparation?
Hmm.
And then they had asked like, okay, fine, what made you quit the, I mean, preparation, I mean, preparation assets. So indirectly, they are covering that gap, like,
Hmm.
what
Okay.
made you start in the first place, and what made you quit that civil service preparation? I mean, what particular instances, or what were your thought process or reason behind taking any decision, major decision? So that's why. I mean, it was not like a plain. This is like what did you gain out of it? I mean, those things I had prepared, but they were more like what scenarios impacted my decision to navigate down that path. So I kind of managed that. So um, I mean, like after the gap, I was not applying right after the gap. So I had some. I have been working after the gap for the past 3.5 years. So I think probably they did not ask me much about that gap as such.
Okay.
So yeah. And I believe like whatever they ask also we have to spend it in a positive way. Yeah? That is the only way. Though we did not reach the end goal, but the process has been transformative, and the tangible things that we gained out of it, more broader knowledge and all that could be highlighted. That would be one tip from my side.
Okay. Yeah, Randir, you want to comment on that?
Yeah, coming to me, I was not particularly asked about this question during my interview, but I again prepared for this. But like Shivani said before, there's no right or wrong answer to this question. So it's basically like you're putting forth your case. So so it varies from person to person, right? So what exactly made you take that path, and what did you learn from it? So that is basically what you need to prepare for that question. And yeah, for me, I really don't think that gap really matters, because after the gap I had a huge amount of professional experience. So I really thought that really didn't matter. And anyways, I went ahead to prepare myself for that, to face that question. But anyways, I was not asked that question.
Okay. So I would add one thing. Last year, I was doing a similar session with Gaurav, who also converted his waitlist of round 3. He's currently at ISB, going to graduate. He said mostly they didn't even realize that he had a gap. He was unemployed when he was when he applied, and he did that. Mostly they didn't realize that he's unemployed and there is a gap in the profession. You are all getting worried about wrong things. Whoever has a gap, you're getting worried about wrong things. Last year, Anushila went with a 1 year gap to ISP. Himanshu went with a 3 years gap to IIM Bangalore. There are other things to worry about for ISB application, like your quality of application, interview preparation, post MBA goal. There are a lot of things to worry about. This is absolutely a no-brainer. You don't need to worry about. Of course, you need to prepare if they ask, but they will not really grill you. ISB will not grill you. IIM Ahmedabad might, but that's a different discussion altogether. ISB will never grill you on this if you have a gap. That I'm sure. And every year, so many people prove it. Okay.
I want to add to it, Anshul. I
Yes.
also had a 1 year
Yes.
gap between
Yes.
from my when I left OYO as an operations head to starting my own business. I was ideating on a lot of things. I didn't have anything on papers, and I asked you, should I put something? And he said, maybe they won't realize, and they didn't.
They don't. I don't know. There are so many things. There are only 4 to 5 things you need to worry about for the entire process, and you really need to make sure that you are well prepared for that. Rest everything is noise. Rest everything is noise. Like repeat, gap year, reapply. I'm a reapplicant, so should I do a lot of changes in the application? What should be in the reapplicant essay? These are all noise. Reapplicant essay, they don't even read. They might ask you, okay, what all did you do since you last applied? That's all. There will be no response or follow-up questions to that. Okay. Uh, do we have any more interesting questions? Huh. Uh, any this is for again Nikhil and Randir. Anything came up regarding your knowledge about public sector being ex-UPSC aspirants in the interview?
Not as such. I mean, since I'm working in the private public sector, they had asked so there was a change from private to public. So they were asking what were the challenges pertaining to public sector and how were it different from private sector. So those kind of questions only they asked. Not they did not dwell much about the civil service preparation and what I learned from it. They did not dwell much. They were like, okay, fine, you did whatever, and you had reasons. And
Okay.
so yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, Randir.
Yeah, I'm anyways in government sector, so they didn't particularly focus on my preparation time for civil services. So they had questions about my current work profile and yeah, why I wanted to get out of the central government job and try pursue MBA and get into private sector. So that's about it. So
Okay. Rishi, this question I will answer what Rishi has asked. Does ISB keep in mind your short or long-term goals from your first application, and you have to say something on the same line for the second one, or second one is a completely fresh start? Please listen to me very carefully because I know many of you would be reapplicant in this call. Your first application has absolutely no bearing on your second application or third application. Absolutely nothing. I've seen people getting overconfident because they were waitlisted in the first attempt. So they said, "Oh, till first attempt I was waitlisted. This year I have put up a better application, so definitely I'm getting in." Wrong. I have seen people getting very depressed that, oh, I was not even invited for the interview in the last attempt. Why should I reattempt so soon? That is also wrong. It has absolutely no basis. They will not go and look at your last application. They don't have that much of time. What they have to do, they are not able to do it properly, managing this application with proper timelines and wait list and everything. Do you think they will open your previous application? They will never. It has also been, I had also got it attested from Amit Tyagi in our info sessions. If Rishi, if you saw that video recording that I shared in the group 2, 3 days ago, this we did in July last year. It has absolutely no relation. And Rishi had also asked how to add anything extra in few months. People have done it. Brinda, I'm calling Brinda in a few weeks to talk to you, all of you, just like this. Brinda is the one who was rejected in round 3 and then accepted in round 1 with 25% scholarship. Just 3, 4 months gap between two applications. Of course, no change in her GMAT score, no change in her profile. So please, whatever happened. Please let it go and have a fresh start with respect to everything. Just forget it like a bad dream. Uh, Randir and Shivani, if you want to add something on this, because both of you are reapplicant.
to add what Anshul had already said, like Anshul said, like for my second attempt and third attempt, my GRE score was same and my profile was same. So there's nothing significant that I've done in the gap that I had to showcase and worry about to give that attempt. So I mean, just be honest about your own application, focus on the main things. I think that will do. I'm worrying about this aspect much, I don't think is ideal.
Shivani, do you want to add something as a reapplicant?
Yeah, I think in my case, they didn't care about what has changed, but because I took like about 3, 4 years to apply,
Yeah.
almost 3.5, so they were more interested in what I've done between this time. That you applied in 2021 round 3, and now you're looking at 24 round 1. So, what have you changed more as an individual, professionally? How have you grown? It wasn't about what has improved, but how do you see yourself differently now? So I don't think it was just in terms of your reapplicant essay as such, because I'm not sure if they went through it in detail, but what I understand is they were very keen on, okay, you are a reapplicant, so why don't you tell us what your journey has been between then and now? So I had
Okay.
a lot of space to talk about my life and how things have changed for me in the last 3 years.
Okay. So they did ask that particular question that after your last application, what all did you do?
Yeah, it was in January I had applied in 2021 and August
Uh,
24. So
hmm.
because it was a longer gap, usually people apply the very next year. So they were very keen on why I didn't do it the very next year and why did I wait 3 years and what changed, what led me to apply after 3 years.
Okay. Okay. So guys, uh, yeah, you can put it in the chat, or you can also unmute yourself and ask directly if you think I'm not listening to your chats and not requesting. If you have anything very burning to ask, you can unmute and ask. I've given the right to everyone to unmute. Okay. While someone is doing it, uh, I also want few insider information now from all of you. Do you think 50-50 male versus female ratio is still going on according to the batch, the new batch?
I think so, yeah.
It is? Okay.
Okay.
So guys who are in this call, male engineers, please buckle up. Things are not going to be easy. Okay. Uh, Engineer versus non-engineer would be the same because they are doing it since my time. So I don't think that's going to change. 60-40 they will maintain. And one thing I'm very sure, average GMAT will decrease this year because I'm sure a lot of people with lower GMAT are getting in. Correct me if I'm wrong. According to, you must have seen in the admit group also, you guys.
Yes, I think from the people I've spoken to, what I understand is numbers have not played a major role. I think a
Yeah.
lot about your profile, the kind of person you are, how do you plan to use ISB, and how do you plan to give back has also played a lot of role because I've seen people with lower GMAT, the ones at least I've spoken to till now. There are people with even a 680 classic. And I just met someone today who had a 615 focus edition who got through as a round three applicant. So
Okay.
there
I'm
is
going
good
to ask a
diversity.
very good question, which is making you and me also feel very old. Will age impact networking once you join? I know you guys have not joined, but do you think you will not be able to party and network as much as the younger people there?
Should I take this up?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I think there was a question that was asked in my interview also. Like, do you think you
Wow.
will gel
They asked you
well?
this?
They asked me, do you think how do you at this age would how do you gel well? But so far, my experience and whatever little and limited, I was in Bangalore for a month ago and was meeting a couple of people. And I tell you, there are younger folks, yes, but all of them have been really respectful. I never felt like out of place. Maybe yes, party. I might not be able to do as I was like in 25, but I'll try, right? I'll try.
Okay. I also have an answer to this, but I'll first ask other three to say, like, express their opinion.
Yeah, I think yeah, it's same thing as Koshel said, might not be able to party as much, but yeah, networking, I look forward to it. I look forward to the new cohort and the all the diverse set of experiences they bring to the table.
Yeah, I mean, I personally have not got the opportunity yet to meet many of the other admits because
Post.
my admit itself is like 2 days ago. So, yeah, I really do not know how it is going to be, but I feel positive about it. I don't see that it is going to be a hindrance or something like that.
I think I agree because I think people are very inclusive. They are very willing to learn also when you come with higher experience. And then I think for us, given we've already been out of all of this, like we've been working for 10 years, 12 years, 8 years. I think we also can learn a more fresh perspective, but people have been inclusive. Party, I agree. I don't think we can socialize or party as much, but I think we'll find other avenues in terms of club or other activities to, get well in the batch. So I think I'm very positive. So I think it's going to be a good experience.
So I will share the perspective of being one of the youngest in the campus because I went through the EO mode. It is not about your age. It is about your priorities and your personality. People of my age were the most stressed people in the campus because they came with very less work experience. My age as an YLP and early entry option admit, both of them have been cancelled now because PGP YL is there. But through YLP and through EO, we were the most stressed people in the campus because we were competing with these all senior people who had great things to talk about. Add to that, add to that my stress of being from a niche background. That to a niche background, but not never practiced that background. I was a doctor, but I never practiced. So my profile was confusing. I hardly had any experience. So I was my entire till placement, I was just running around here and there like a chicken and getting stressed and getting nervous about everything. I did not socialize, I couldn't. And by the time I was one of the first to get placed also in the campus, then I realized all of those worries were of no use. I could have socialized and I could have networked well, and I still would have got placed. But even after I got placed, it was too late. People had already had their friend circle and groups and things and that. So even till the end, I only stick to my EO group, early entry option group. Still today, also, if I'm very close friends with someone from ISB, those are my EO people, because I was already in touch with them since an year in advance. Few people here and there have stuck, but so it doesn't depend on age, guys. I was the younger one, but I did not get any benefit of being younger in terms of networking, because I was anxious and nervous and stressed and depressed also, because of my own shortcomings. सो प्लीज ये फालतू की बात है. एज ज्यादा हो तो प्रॉब्लम होती है, एज कम हो तो लोगों को प्रॉब्लम होनी शुरू हो जाती है. लाइक प्लीज डू नॉट क्रिएट आर्टिफिशियल प्रॉब्लम्स while ISB application. There are enough real problems to solve while going through this entire application journey. Do not create random rumors and get stressed about uh, things which have no base. Okay. Okay. There are no more questions as of
Uh,
now.
uh, I,
Yeah, Praneeth. Yeah, Praneeth.
Hi, Hanshul, I would like to ask a
Yes,
question.
yes.
Yeah, hi, my name is Praneeth. My question is to Randir and Nikil. I'm a former civil service aspirant myself. I just wanted to ask, how did you use your civil service journey in your essays and your interview, and how exactly did you pitch it to the while applying?
Yeah, I had mentioned it in the essays, and as I already told, no, I did not hide it. Yeah, obviously, I explained it, and I mentioned it as a path I chose, and why I chose it. So there was like a background why I chose civil services exam, though it did not work out. What I learned from it, and the learnings that led to my current job at NABARD. So the person who read did not feel like it was very out of the place, and it felt so basically everything what we write in the application should fit in the whole applicant story. So it fell quite nicely into my story, though I was not successful in it. So that's what I would try to. That's what I would advise you to do also.
Uh, Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's like after my civil services prep, like I've been working in my current role for about 9 years. So that's a significant amount of time. So my focus had been largely on my current role. So I did give the reference of civil services in my application, but that was a very brief pitch about my civil services. So more focus has not been given to my civil services time. So my focus has largely confined to my current role.
Thank you very much.
Hello.
Yeah, Danush.
Hi, Anshul. Hi, everyone. Congratulations on the admit. I had a couple of questions with respect to the GMAT preparation. GMAT or the GRE. So, if you've given multiple attempts, how do you stay motivated to give it until you get your desired score?
My
The second is,
just want to add, like I did not attempt anything two times, my GMAT or my application, but my motivation was poverty. I'm like, I was at 30,000 salary in Bangalore, where 10,000 was my rent. I'm like, I want to get out of this. And I cannot, when I paid for GMAT, it was 17,000. And I had to borrow money from my cousin. I said, I cannot take this exam again. I have to do or die situation I have to crack, and I have to get out of this mess of a startup where I was working. So that was my motivation, but I would ask others to reply as well.
yes, thank you.
Yeah, Dhanush, you had a second part also to your question, please.
Yes. So my second part was, how do you, if you have any tips for working professionals? So my current job has 11 to 12 hours of work plus 3 hours of travel, so 15 hours goes away just there. So like, and I know with GMAT, it's important to be consistent every single day. So like, if you just have any tips on how I can manage time better to fit in my prep as well.
Any one of you guys want to take it up?
I can answer the second part better, I think. I think motivation was obviously difficult, but I think on the second part, I was myself working with EY during my attempt. So I think with that kind of a life, I think, of course, I think the only important thing is that being consistent. So even if you say have like an hour, probably look at your error logs or revise something, or, just like brush up on some mistakes. But even if you don't have like a 2 hour, 3 hour window, I think what's more important is you stay consistent. You spend some time either looking at your notes, your formula, your error logs. I think that just keeps things in your head. You don't lose the touch. Plus, work gets stressful. The moment you end up missing one day, I think you just spiral into that comfort zone that, I still have another day to go. I think that's something that works for me. But I think being motivated, I would probably have others pitch in. I had a difficult time trying to get back to track. But yeah, so if any of you else wants to take that up.
I would want to go on take a shot on the first one, the first part. I had a very long preparation time. Firstly, it's because I was out of touch for almost, good 10 years before I started prep, number one. Number two, I had a lot of personal events in between. So I was in and out of preparation a lot, medical issues, family functions, like my own wedding, all of that. So one thing that really worked out towards the end is something, and I've seen a lot of people over-indexing on the MBA and the GMAT. I think what one has to realize, and it worked for me, is what is the end goal? And MBA is a means to an end. It is not the end in itself. So having that understanding that this MBA, I mean, it worked for me. I'm not saying it worked for everyone else. It worked for me. That MBA, why are you doing this MBA? And you know why, if your why is very strong, it sometimes helps you keeping you motivated. Why why do you want to put in all this effort? Why would you after so, and I had 3 rejects. I mean, like I gave my first, I scored 610, then I scored 660, then I got 700 in the classic ones. So, and it has been doing that it took me 3 years because of all these events in between. So towards first, I was like obsessed about GMAT. I at one point I thought I forgot about MBA altogether. It was all GMAT. So, understanding that GMAT and an MBA is a means to an end, and having that why clear in your head will really help you. Yeah.
Sanjani is
Also, probably
asking.
to add,
Yeah. Please go ahead, Shivani.
to add to that, I think if your GMAT's cutting too close, you have to treat it as another component of your application and you have to do things in parallel. You cannot wait to finish your exam. So I think that motivation has to be true. If you're planning to go ahead and do an MBA, I think even if you're like Koshel, I think he said he started working with Anshul in April. Even I took it thrice, by the way. So I mean, of course, for this attempt I took it twice for this admit. But I think the idea was that I have to get to this place and I have to go ahead for an MBA. So I was actually reconsidering taking the exam even before my application, but I couldn't. But you have to work on things in parallel and you have to sort of you have to focus on the fact that you have to get to an MBA, for which a GMAT is as important as your application, probably, or maybe whatever. I mean, it's a part of your application. I think that's important.
Just one thing I wanted to add. It's an insider information that I got 3 days ago. The component for GMAT and GRE has reduced now. The weightage for GMAT or GRE has been reduced from this batch. That's the reason I asked you guys that is that true that many lower people are getting in. So it's verified that it has reduced. How true is that insider information? I also don't know, but it is coming from a source. It has reduced. Makes it further more important to do more brainstorming on your application and do not really worry about your GMAT unless it's really very low. I think Shivani just gave an example of someone with a 615 getting in, that too in round 3. Right. So, Rishi, what weightage has increased? Application weightage has increased. Again, this is an insider information.
And the round 3 applicant does not have a very unconventional background to add. She has a very typical consulting background. So I think given that, I think we can say that probably, there has been some shifts because she doesn't have like, a very, she did have some extracurricular, leading NGOs and working on some different initiatives at a social service level, at a personal level. So I think it's a lot about your application also.
Okay. PR is asking, was anyone asked why not pursue online courses? So, guys, I will answer answer to this question in some other session because it's a typical interview question. And there are 5 things that you need to tell them. जो मैंने रटा दिया था सबको कि ऐसे 5 ही बोलना है. I don't think it was asked. Was it asked to anyone?
No, it is not.
No. It's not a common question, but if it is asked, then there are 5 pointers that आप उसको बस बोल दो. Can you give us a safe range for GMAT and GRE, like minus these many points from the average GMAT GRE? I think safe range for GMAT would be 635, above 635 for sure. There are people getting lesser than that also, but that is not safe. As Shivani said, someone with a 615 had a really diverse profile, right? Someone with a 590 is going to IIM Ahmedabad from our group, but then she is a Ministry of Education. She works for the central government of India. So of course her profile would be valued. She never applied to ISB. That's a different thing. Otherwise, the ISB would have taken her. Current batch has a 660 in classic GMAT ISB. He is from Ministry of Defense. So do not look at these outliers. Safe would be definitely more than 635. Ram is asking, I actually thought average GMAT GRE would reduce this year. Yes, Ram, I said the same thing 10, 15 minutes ago in this call. It would decrease for sure. Don't you think it's because people who cheated in the take-home test can no longer apply? Yeah, that is the reason. Second reason is that they have reduced the weightage only for GMAT to GRE, the weightage for GMAT and GRE. They are giving more weightage to the application part. That's why I am assuming for this batch, the average GMAT and GRE would reduce a bit. Of course, we'll get to know on 12th. Just to let all 4 of you know, they will show it during your O week in the auditorium. You will get all your batch insights, and please take pictures and share with me so that I also know. Mostly I'll be there in Hyderabad campus, but if I'm not able to, then please let me know that. GRE, Rishak, it would be around more than 325 for sure. Yeah, Krisha, please.
Hi, so my question is regarding entrepreneurship. So currently I work at Geo Hotstar. I just want to know if I have entrepreneurship ambitions, will that be perceived negatively in the interview, considering I might not sit for the placements if I really go into it? And second thing is, second part, I can come to it later.
Yeah, I think Koshel should answer this.
See, the typical answer, if you want to answer that you want to talk and sell it in the interview, is that if you don't have the experience, and don't talk about it, because anyone can say that they have aspirations. But if you have a track to prove it, like you have done it, you have, let's say, along with like Geo, you're working on a side hustle, something, then definitely that's an angle that you can explore. And I'm not saying you don't have one, but in an interview, how to go about it, only if you have a track record of doing it, then probably mention it. Yeah.
Yes, I think, yeah, that sounds perfect. Secondly, how you as an entrepreneur considered the PGP program instead of, say, I think they have an incubation sort of a program as well, and also the family business thing. So didn't you think being surrounded by entrepreneurs would have helped you better compared to this program?
So like I said in one of the questions before, like one of my biggest thing that I'm going for this MBA at all in the first place is the brand and the program matters, right? As in, so to build a team, the brand would matter and the program matters. I think talking about the reputation that BGP has, I don't think the rest of it is as popular as it, number one. Number two, would it help? I would still have the access to these people, right? As in, even if I'm going from PGP, I will still have access to these people, to the AIC. So I'm in the Mohali campus. They have a AIC entrepreneurship, this thing, whole school of entrepreneurship there.
Atal Incubation Center, AIC.
AIC. So I would still have access to these people, but I want the best profile for myself. I don't want to compromise. Now that I'm putting into it, I want to put it like all, and it's just 12 months from here, and I have my business in place so that I don't have to get into it. My operations are sorted for me, so I had the luxury to do it.
One thing I want to add to this, Krisha, ultimately they will charge the same amount of money, more or less, for no matter which course you join. It might be
Yeah.
different a few lakhs. You have to make the best use of that money, and the best use of that money can be only be made through PGP because you get the maximum support because it's a flagship program, and you also get a network of the smartest people around you. MFAB, the family business program, or ये जो I venture शुरू किया है, just to let you know,
Yeah.
they reduced the fee.
Yeah.
When they launched, the fee was higher. Then they reduced the fee. I hope you understood why.
Yeah.
I'll not say anything on the call. So please understand PGP is the way to go. And this call should be the biggest motivating factor for all of you, that how much these people have struggled to reach here. All four of them. None of them had it easier with respect to GMAT or GRE preparation, or with respect to their application. Someone has appeared for GMAT and GRE 3 times. Someone has applied to ISB 3 times. So it's like do or die, but apply to PGP and put your best foot forward.
Yeah, I actually had the exact same reasoning that Koshel has, which is why I've decided to go through the grill of going through GMAT and then, going for the flagship program. It's just it's a little hard to put it in words when you try to explain these things in the interview or application. But this is very helpful. Thank you so much.
Anik has asked, will reduced weightage of GMAT GRE increase the reliance on ACAT scores? No, I just mentioned the reliance would be more on application. For the weightage for ACAT, they have already reduced. Few years ago, they used to ask for 10th, 12th, and graduation. Now they are not even asking for 10th score. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. They did not ask for 10th, right?
No, they do not.
Yes.
No.
So they are already reducing the reliance on ACATs because they understand if you have work X, why they should look at so many years ago what you did in class 10. So that weightage for ACATs is already reduced. Maximum weightage would be for application before your interview happens. Okay. Okay. Now there are no more questions. If someone wants to unmute, they can ask. If not, then what would be the final advice to the applicants from all of you? Anyone can start. Meanwhile, guys, you can ask questions also by unmuting or by putting it in the chat.
If I may.
Yeah.
So basically, there is only one single thing. It's never late. If you want to do something, then you better put your leg forward and try doing it. So irrespective of the age or other factors. So of course, personal situations and family situations, financial situations, everything comes to play. But then unless you do it, you would not be able to explore what's on the other side. So if you want to be there, you got to do it. That's the only way.
Thank you. I think other than that, I think what I can say is, of course, none of us had it easy. We've had our own share of struggles with GMAT for situation. But I think getting into ISB with a flagship program was one of the things we were all looking at. We were not looking at different programs that everyone's been talking about, family business and other programs. I think other than that, beyond the age, I think once you're there, you're all figuring out the same thing. So I think if you know that MBA is the stepping stone to your next step, then you need to take it. It's not going to matter where are you in life. I worked in corporate also, but I think this is where I felt that an MBA is going to put me where I want to be in 5 years. So I think if you have a lot of clarity around your goals, I don't think it's going to be a problem. Work X, breaks, and all of that. If you're clear that MBA is the way, I think go for it.
Yeah, so I would like to add to that and tell that you have to be consistent and you have to start early in your application. Even I did 1 month before the deadline of round two, and I thought I was late.
That too, I was pushing you.
Yeah. So Anshul was pushing me, and
Nikhil used to send me nice messages. Oh, such great session. Anshul, feel very motivated. Then he used to go back somewhere. I'm like, what happened to this guy? Such a diverse profile. Why is he giving up? And then finally he came.
So even when I scored like 645 1 month before, I was thinking like, I am below average So I messaged Anshul ki, Anshul, I might take one more attempt. And ultimately that attempt I scored lesser. So I thought
Oh
I'll
God.
go ahead with 645.
How much money you
So
spend, man, on GMAT?
I think four attempts, I think. So
Oh
yeah.
God.
So that's what, so I mean, ultimately I thought like, see, the average is this
Why
much.
did
So
you?
there must be some guys below the average.
Nikhil, I distinctly remember messaging 645 is perfect. Correct me if I'm wrong. Why did you take another attempt?
No, I thought, I mean, so I did not compromise on application. Like application was my first priority after that. But I thought like, I would just give with very minimal preparation, like, taking one or two mocks. I
Okay.
just give one more shot. If by luck I can, increase by 10 points or so, that was my work. Other than that, so yeah, my advice would be to be consistent. And there are a lot of myths, and age is one myth. Similarly, Anshul has done a lot of sessions identifying a lot of myths and debunking them. So you have to, I mean, the only way is move forward. Nothing. You don't have to look backward. You don't need to say that I don't have any extracurriculars, or I don't have the
Oh,
stellar
thank
profile.
you. Thank you for
That
saying
that's
that. Thank
something
you.
that's something you can't change. So the only thing that you can change is what you're going forward. Be it GMAT, be your application. So that is my final advice. Yeah.
I am so frustrated this year because people keep asking, I don't have anything. Should I do an NGO? Do you think doing random thing in a random NGO for next few months will add any value? So please do not think about things that you do not have. I'm sure you have done a lot of things already. Focus on building that. Okay.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Koshel is left. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think everybody has already summed it up really well. I would again tell the same thing. Be clear on why are you doing this. Like I said, it is means to an end. Have an end in mind. And if you see another ways to that end, you will never put in all your efforts. I have tried doing this when I was leaving my job OYO in 2017. I was thinking about an MBA, but I always had that, man, do I do an MBA? Do I do a startup of my own, because that's the end that I'm seeking for. And I didn't end up doing this MBA or preparing for my GMAT at that point. This time I was sure that I need it. I was sure of my whys, and I knew what is the end I'm seeking after this. So if your whys are strong, you'll get there.
Yes, Akash, you have a question. You have raised your hand. Yeah. Yeah, you can unmute yourself. Yeah.
So actually, my question is for specifically Anshul. Okay,
Oh,
so I have a GMAT focus score of 655,
yeah.
and I am a re-applicant. Okay, so I had applied this year, and I got rejected after an interview. Okay, in the round two. Okay, so my question is that my scores of GMAT are not in the same ballpark for each section. So because for DI and verbal, it is on little lower side compared to the quant. Okay. So my question is like, should I give an again GMAT?
I think the answer should be clear after this session, Akash. Three
No,
people, three people,
I got, yeah,
three
I
people are
understand.
with
Like,
GMAT here, and all three have lower score than you. So,
no, I understand the part, but I'm just a little worried that since I'm a male engineer, plus, and my profile.
so are Nikhil and Koshel and Randir. All three are male engineers.
Okay,
There are
uh,
other things to worry about, Akash. And I repeat, just because you reached the interview stage and you were rejected after the interview, please do not get overconfident for the next attempt. That nothing was wrong all this while. I only got rejected because of interview. Of something went wrong in the interview. This logic works very well for IIM Ahmedabad. For IIM Ahmedabad, once you reach the interview stage, it is only about your performance in the interview. ISP still remains holistic. There might be something wrong with your application. I'm not sure. I'm not saying there might be. You do not know that yet. In my opinion, 655 is a great score to go ahead with. You do not need a reattempt. But if you want, and if you think that spending much time, money, and resources on GMAT would increase it to 20, 30 points, then do it. Because you will get into the next bracket for your GMAT weightage. Definitely the bracket for above average would be different, right? 655 se zyada you will be in the above average bracket. Right now you're sitting exactly at average. right?
Okay.
But along with it, you also need to figure out everything about your application and drill down on your post MBA goal and work very hard on your interview preparation also. Anyone else want to add something on this? Any four of you? Okay. This is for other three people, Koshel, Nikhil, and Shivani. Did any one of you take formal GMAT coaching for sake of discipline? What resources you used? If you guys can just mention for GMAT.
Yeah. So I used eGMAT. Their course was there, but again, their validity. I mean, that 3 month validity was there. I did not extend it. Then post that, it was mostly self study and GMAT that the official guides and all that. So yeah. So the guides as well as the website is there, no? GMAT Club. So there you get a lot of questions and queries. So you can do that, maintain an error log of where you are going wrong. So I think that is something basic which everyone does also, I believe.
Yeah. Koshel, because you prepared for so long, Classic, 10 Focus. So what resources did you use?
I actually ended up using a lot. I started with eGMAT, finished that entire thing. That did help me. Went to TTP, finished that. Um, I finished TTP again, a whole thing. And then I even at the end, like when I was around, 690, I was at one point plateauing at 690, wasn't able to break that. I even took a personal, help from someone.
Oh.
So yeah, but at the end of the day, the material boils down to all these official things at the end. If you have no beginning or you've been out of academics for a long period of time, like I said, all these either TTP or eGMAT is helpful, and later on maybe focus to just the official material. Yeah.
Shivani, what resources did you use?
I think when I first started, I don't remember what I did at Classic. So this one, the Focus Edition. Um, I did start with eGMAT, being very difficult for me to continue classes, but they had this very nice system of using having your own quizzes and stuff. So that helped me identify a lot of weaknesses, which then I've shifted to the official guide primarily. The official questions, and GMAT Club has this platform where you can, filter out official questions and the official mock. I think the official mocks, I actually bought the mocks, and I think that was like the biggest place for me for my improvement between the first and the second attempt. So I think if like Koshel said, I would agree. If you have zero idea about how to start, no beginning, and you've been out of touch, then online coaching would help build in some structure. But otherwise, the official guide and the official mocks are like your go-to.
Thank you, guys. I think there are no more questions now, and thanks a lot. It's holiday today. I mean, both a weekend and also festival for taking and I mean, thank you for taking your time for. And I'm sure things are very chaotic, especially for Randir, who has just when the ball has just been dropped for you. But thanks a lot for taking your time on a short notice. And Randir, I'm meeting. Unfortunately, three of you, I'll not be meeting immediately, but I'll meet you definitely in person. I make it a point to meet all the admits in person at least once. And before that, I am kind of free. So feel free to let me know because mostly within few weeks you will not need my help. But if you need any kind of help, any kind of anything, please let me know. And that's it. And as Katrina Kaif told Ritik in ZNMD, तुम्हारी जिंदगी बदलने वाली है. So that just before he dived in the ocean. So that's what is going to happen to all of you. And I mean, only for the good. Only good things will happen, don't worry. Okay. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Anshul, for
Thank you,
letting me
Anshul.
be here
Thank
because
you.
Nikhil, Koshal, and Shivani are the first
Yes,
ones
push
for me to
network.
meet who are the
And
admits.
one thing I
So,
want
yeah.
to tell you, somehow it has happened in the class of 2024. somehow my admits who were never in touch with each other, they became very good friends in the campus. They never knew that they worked with me.
Oh,
Yes, it happened with Ruchir becoming good friends with Karan, and then Karan becoming friends with Samarpit, and they didn't know that they all are connected to me. So maybe I hope you guys also become great friends. Three of you are in the same campus, so that's it.
maybe that calls for a faith career, meetup of
Yes,
all
yes.
that.
The Hyderabad meetup is already happening. I said Mohali definitely it will. There will be a dinner for everyone.
Definitely.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thanks a
All right,
lot for your
thanks. Bye
time,
bye.
and
Thank
Bye.
you.
good luck
Bye.
for 12th of
Thank
April.
you.
Thank you.